Jansen Harris here with Sean Fowler. Like always, we're talking Week 12 football games. This segment is presented by Your Future Media and Level 1 Game Room. Shout out to them. Go follow Sean on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. He's the truth. He tells it how it is. That's why we do this show together. Follow me as well. Media Jansen on Twitter, Jansen Harris on Instagram and Facebook, Just Good Network, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Just Good Network. Texans defeat the Lions on Thursday, 41-25. Deshaun Watson is looking like the best quarterback in the league for the last 2 weeks. Sean, what were your thoughts on that game watching it?
Yeah, man, Deshaun Watson, he looked good, man. You know, I just made it recently at the top 10 list. I had Deshaun Watson at, I think at 10. You know, but at this point, man, coming into the season, I had him at 6, man. So, you know, but the top 10 quarterbacks change week to week, you know, I feel like for me. But Deshaun Watson, man, he showed why he's still the man in Houston. You know, Bill O'Brien took away his best threat and DeAndre Hopkins, and, you know, they got a 2 to 3 game winning streak. You know, he looked very good against Cam Newton, the Patriots, last Sunday. He looked good against the Detroit Lions, who have been having a shaky year. But, you know, I think the thing with Deshaun is that he's starting to understand the game more. You know, he had a breakout rookie season that halfway through the year, you know, he had an injury, but he bounced back the next year, and I believe they went to the playoffs against the Indianapolis Colts in the first round and lost. And the following year, which is last season, played against the Buffalo Bills, made enough plays, went to the divisional round. So with Deshaun Watson, man, he's just showing that he can do it all. You know, obviously he's a dual-threat quarterback. He extend plays with his legs. He still has a very good arm. He's accurate enough. He doesn't make as many mistakes. I don't think he's thrown an interception in the last 3 games. I think he has like 21 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions this year. Or 22 touchdowns, something like that. Maybe more. But Deshaun Watson, man, he's really special, man. He's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the game today. And he just showed again against Detroit that I think he was the best player at all. It was only 2 games played that day, but man, I think Deshaun Watson was an MVP with all things given the game. So, yeah.
Absolutely, Sean. His stats are just crazy. 17 for 25, 318 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Will Fuller looked good. I know they had some injuries in that wide receiving core. Brandon Cooks, who's kind of bounced around the league, but everybody knows he has talent. 5 catches, 85 yards. Let's transition to the Washington football team winning 41-16. A lot of people, including myself, this is a big surprise. The Washington football team, they closed the game out well in the second half, outscoring the Cowboys 24-3. I thought Alex Smith was okay. I love the running game. Antonio Gibson, didn't know much about him, but he balled out. 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. Sean, what were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, man, Antonio Gibson, I love his poise, man. You know, playing running back like I did some years back, man, you can tell a running back has that confidence without even showing it necessarily externally. You know, he's not a hoorah type of guy. You know, it's his rookie season, but he just seemed patient, man. You know, he had about, I think, 30 touches in total with the game, combined with the rushing and receiving. But it's something about him, man. I like his patience. You know, he kind of seemed like a Le'Veon Bell type against the Dallas Cowboys. And, you know, he's really burned them the last couple of games he's played them. The first game, he ran for over 110 yards. So this game as well, he ran easily over 110 yards. And, you know, again, receiving out the backfield. So, but Washington, they have I think the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. So you saw what Chase Young was doing as well, getting back there on Andy Dalton, you know, stripping Zeke as well, you know, that defense. And, I mean, they play really good football. And, you know, I got to give credit to Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, a.k.a. because, you know, with his teams, they usually have a pretty solid defense. You know, they had it in Carolina most of the time, and they're just coached well. You know, they're a 4-17. They had a couple close games this year, but it's something with Washington, man, and Ron Rivera, like they're going to compete, and that's what you've seen against the Cowboys. You know, I actually picked the Cowboys. I thought the Cowboys would win that game at home. You know, riding off the victory against Minnesota. But Washington, Alex Smith, you know, we can make fun of him, call him check down Alex, but, you know, he was efficient. He had 1 interception, but for the most part, man, he just didn't make mistakes, and that's the type of team that Washington is. You know, they're just, you know, they run the football hard against you. You know, Terry McLaurin had a game-saving, I think, tackle that Jalen Smith had for a pick six. You know, but that, again, that's just giving credit to Ron Rivera. They're just a well-coached team, and they just found ways to to compete and hopefully win. So watch out for the Washington football team.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin, pretty good game, 7 catches, 92 yards. What stood out to me as well is that third down efficiency. Washington was 7 for 13 on third down. The Cowboys only 4 for 13. And the time of possession, Washington dominated that, running the football with 35 minutes to 24 minutes of the Cowboys. Sean, let's transition to our upset pick of the week. This is the final play on the Just Good Network podcast. Listen to it wherever you guys listen to sports podcasts. Weekly, we're going to bring you the content, transparent content from me, Sean, and others. Let me start off with my upset pick of the week, Sean. You might laugh at this because I've been very critical of Carson Wentz. But I'm picking the Eagles to defeat Seattle on Monday Night Football. Seattle's 32nd against the pass, allowing over 343 passing yards a game. They allow quarterbacks rating of 98.4 and a 70 completion percentage. So their defense is bad when it comes to pass defense. Now, Seattle, one thing that concerns me about them and which could make them win the game is their pass rush, and they can get to the quarterback in recent weeks. And the Eagles allow the most sacks with 40. But saying that, I think some way, somehow, Carson Wentz will have a pretty good game because now Jalen Hurts, they're saying he's getting first-team reps. So I think that's pushing him a little bit. I think Carson Wentz is due for a pretty good game. It'll be a tight game, but I have Philly at home defeating the Seattle Seahawks in a close one.
Yeah, for me, my upset pick of the week, I think you might like this, Jansen. I got the Jets, beating the Miami Dolphins. You know why? Here's why. Tua Tagovailoa, he's not playing today. This just in. Ryan Fitzpatrick, yes, I believe he's still a decent quarterback, but we're saying upsets for a reason. The Jets, believe it or not, they haven't necessarily been getting blown out these last 2 games. We saw what they did against the Patriots almost until the Cam Newton, rolls up and was Superman late in that game. We saw even against who they played after that. Well, before that, they played against the Chiefs. That wasn't a blowout like many people expected.
And then the Chargers last week.
The Chargers last week, yeah, very close game as well. But I actually got the Jets, man. I understand the tank for Trevor, but you can still win the game and still get Trevor at 1-15. I don't think the Jets want to go 0-16. I think they have a little bit too much pride. I know Fireman Ed, one of you all's favorite fans of all time. Even though he can't be in the stadium, they don't want to make him upset because the Jets, it's still a hardcore fan base, man. And I have to ask you a quick question, would you be disappointed if y'all won 0-16? Just yes or no, real quick.
No, actually, I'd be pretty pleased. I'm just being real with you. I'd be very disappointed if the Jets beat the Dolphins today. I'd be disappointed. Man. I do not want to beat the Dolphins. I want to score some points and pretend like we're going to beat the Dolphins and then blow the lead.
Well, that's the thing though, Jansen. I feel like the Jets, man, it's an AFC East opponent. A little rivalry game. I feel like it's going to be close. I think the Dolphins definitely have one of the better defenses in the game today, but I just feel like the Jets, man, it's something with it, man. I believe in Flacco. I think you're going to get your first win today. That's my upset pick of the week, without Tua playing.
I hope you're wrong, but I could see it, man. Division game, it should be a tight one. No Tua. We're going to see how that one plays out. Speaking of the team that beat the Jets last week, Los Angeles Chargers 3-7 at the Buffalo Bills. Who do you have in that one?
Man, I'm going with, to me that's a toss-up game because Justin Herbert looking like he could be a potential rookie of the year, even though the team hasn't been winning as many games. My head is going towards Buffalo, but I'm going to go with the upset. I'm taking the Chargers. I feel like with Buffalo, they had a week off. They got beat a couple weeks ago against the Arizona Cardinals on the Hail Murray, as people are calling it, to DeAndre Hopkins, excuse me. And but it's something with the Chargers, man. I think they're finally going to be due for winning another game, because a lot of their games have been decided, man, late, and they had big leads, but they couldn't close. I think, playing against this Buffalo Bills team, man, I don't know. I'm just going to lean more on Herbert, and I think the Chargers defense will get a late stop, man, and force Josh Allen to turn over the ball a couple times a day. So I'm going with the Chargers today.
There's another upset from you, but I got the Bills in this one. This, to me, is a must-win game for the Bills. We know they're probably going to win the AFC East. They're the team to beat in that division, clearly the best team in that division. But when we're talking about seeding, they're going to need to keep up if they want to compete for that third seed, second seed, potentially even first seed, if they can somehow, some way catch the Steelers, who is the best team in the league right now. So I have the Bills winning by at least 2 touchdowns. I think Herbert will make a couple mistakes, and I think Josh Allen will continue to ball out and continue to put his name in the MVP race. Let's go to another divisional game, Sean, in the AFC South. Tennessee Titans 7-3 at the Indianapolis Colts. They're 7-3. This is a big time matchup in Week 12. This is maybe a game people need to take a close look at. At the top of the division is for the division lead and also seeding in the AFC. Who do you have in this divisional matchup?
I got the Colts, man. The Colts have been under the radar the whole year. They arguably have the best defense in NFL. We've seen what they did against the Green Bay Packers last week. Stopping, somewhat limited to Aaron Rodgers. He had a decent statistical game, but for his pedigree and everything, they tried to dismantle him somewhat, and they made the plays when they needed to be. And Phillip Rivers, I think when he's consistent and not turn over the football, this team can be actually a dark horse team, Jansen. I know that's your guy as well, and Phillip Rivers, so, and Jonathan Taylor, the running back, they still have guys like T.Y. Hilton. They have veterans on the team, so I think the Colts, man, they beat them on Thursday night a few weeks ago, the Tennessee Titans, that is, and I think they'll get another win today, so I'm taking the Colts.
I'm taking the Colts as well, too. Colts at home. They surprised me with Green Bay. Green Bay was beating them up in the first half, but their defense giving pressure looks, disguising those coverages against Aaron Rodgers. I love what the Colts are doing. Phillip Rivers is still showing he could play big-time football. He had 3 touchdowns in that game. People were talking about they possibly need to bring in another quarterback. Phillip's not that guy. And he might not be great. He might not be elite. He might not even be what he was with the Chargers maybe 3 years ago. But he doesn't need to be that guy for this team. They have a pretty good defense. He's playing pretty good football. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, they should win in a tight game because the Titans are a pretty good team. Phillip Rivers cannot turn the ball over. He can't fumble the football. He can't throw interceptions. He needs to be a smart quarterback today. He needs to be smarter than Ryan Tannehill. He doesn't have to be better, just smarter in his decision-making process. So we're both on the Colts. Let's go to the Panthers, man. The Panthers 4-7 at the Minnesota Vikings, who are 4-6. A little bit of a disappointing season for the Vikings. Who do you have in this matchup?
Man, it depends if Teddy plays. I know he got hurt a couple weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Panthers did shut out the Detroit Lions 20-0 last week at home. So this is a toss-up game as well, man. I'm gonna actually go towards the Vikings. They had a disappointing loss against the Cowboys, a game that they really could have won last week. I feel like the Cowboys really kind of, they made a couple plays in the end, and Minnesota, had the game in hand, but they had a couple drops late, and they let that game go. And I know they're still potentially mathematically, I should say, in the playoff chase. So I think they're gonna beat the Carolina Panthers today. Dalvin Cook is having an MVP-worthy type of season. Adam Thielen, I know he has the coronavirus, so I think he will be out this game. But I'm gonna go with Minnesota, man. I think Kirk Cousins is gonna make a couple more plays on offense. Give guys like Jefferson the ball, and I think they're gonna find a way to win.
I'm with you, man. I got the Vikings as well. Dalvin Cook looking like the best running back in the game. I think he has a big game. I think Cousins makes a couple plays, but I think it'll be about Cook. Cook is going to dominate this game. I don't necessarily think the Panthers are bad against the run, or Teddy Bridgewater will have a bad game, but I don't know if he'll be great in his first game back. I have the Vikings. I like Cook to have over 100 yards and a couple touchdown scores. So the running game will be important.
Definitely.
Let's turn to the Browns. The Browns are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Browns are 7-3. Jacksonville, which they're giving the Jets a run for their money on the low. They're 1-9. They've looked horrible recently. This is one of the biggest threats to me, Sean, to get the first pick in the draft. That race between them and the Jets, it looks neck and neck right now. Who do you have in this one? Cleveland Browns or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Man, I'm going with Cleveland. I think Cleveland, they're a quiet 7-3. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I feel like they need to be more of a running football team. Have Baker Mayfield almost be the game manager to the point where you don't have an Odell Beckham Jr., but you still have a Jarvis Landry who's been on his team for the last couple of years. You have the tight ends and Hooper and Higgins and those guys. So I think the Browns, man, I feel like their game plan should be more have the run turn into the pass. So I feel like the Browns should definitely beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars haven't looked good, for most of the year. They had a couple close games with the Packers and a couple other teams, but I'm going with the Browns in this one, man. I think this is I'm going to say this is a must-win for them because typical Browns would possibly lose this game and go down to 7-4, but they have literally the playoffs in their hands. They're a game above the Baltimore Ravens, who is basically without their whole team right now, and they can really grab, hopefully continue to at least keep that second spot in the division if they win this game. So it's funny saying a trap game for the Browns, but I think this is a game that they definitely need to win. So I got the Browns in this one.
Jacksonville has been awful. I don't know what they're doing at the quarterback position. The guy they're playing, he looks terrible. The Browns are going to win this one, probably 24-10. Let me say something like that. Kareem Hunt will get a bunch of carries. Nick Chubb, it'll be that type of show. I really want to see Baker Mayfield make a couple plays. It's going to be the game where he's allowed to make mistakes, but he should also take chances down the field. How about Jarvis Landry? Landry needs to have a big game. Hooper needs to have a big game. I think one of them will step up, and the Browns will win this one easily. It should be over at halftime. The Jags are that bad, and they'll continue to contend for that first pick, in my opinion. Turning over to the Giants, who they're right in the mix of things in the division. In the NFC East, they're 3-7. They're at the Cincinnati Bengals, who just lost Joe Burrow. They're 2-7-1. Who do you got in this one, the Giants or the Bengals?
Going with the Giants, man. I feel like the Giants, a lot of their games have been close this year. We seen what they did on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going down to the two-point conversion. They had an impressive win against the Philadelphia Eagles a couple weeks ago. So they're coming off their bye now. And I'm going to say this. I don't think Daniel Jones is a horrendous quarterback. He fumbles the ball too much, too many turnovers. But as far as making the throws and being able to move his feet, I feel like he has potential. He definitely needs to calm down. I'm not even saying he's an above average QB, but I feel like he can make plays. He just needs to be more careful. So I'm going with the Giants in this one, man. I just think they have, I think what having Jason Garrett is kind of, helped Daniel Jones and Wayne Gallman. Shout out to Wayne Gallman, Gwinnett County. Grayson Ram back here in Gwinnett. But I think he's been having some really good games as well. He's been scoring, the touchdowns and stuff. So recently, I'm going with the Giants in this one.
Yeah, I got the Giants as well too. Seems like we're bringing a lot of these picks. They have more to lose than the Bengals. I know the Bengals are still devastated from losing Joe Burrow. I don't know what to expect from them this week offensively. I just know that offensive line is terrible. The Giants should get after him. Daniel Jones, sometimes he plays all right. And I think he'll make some big-time plays on the field. And I think the Giants will win this game by probably 10 points. So I got the Giants improving to 4-7 and keeping up in that NFC East. It's a weird division where most teams suck, but it is what it is. Let's go to a matchup I know you would like, Sean. The Arizona Cardinals, they're 6-4. They're at the New England Patriots, who are 4-6, really trying to hang on to their season. You have Kyler Murray, you have Cam Newton. Which team do you like today?
I love this matchup, man. Jansen, I gotta say the Cardinals, man. I just trust the Cardinals more. We've seen New England have some decent moments, beating the Baltimore Ravens. Going to the wire against the Seattle Seahawks. They've been in most of their games. But I just trust the Cardinals more, man. I think when New England struggles with I think against the most is do with their quarterbacks, man, this year. We've seen what Russell Wilson did to them the second game of the year, 5 touchdowns. We've seen what Deshaun Watson did to them this last week, another 3 to 4 total touchdowns. You know what I mean? So Kyler Murray is no short. As far as the season, he's having just as good as a season as those two quarterbacks. So I think with Kyler Murray, them coming off a loss last Thursday night against the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to be motivated because they understand too. They need to get in the playoffs. It's not a guarantee for them. They're third in the division with the Rams second and Seattle first. Right now. But I think the game is just as important for Kyler Murray and his team as it is the Patriots because they don't have the guaranteed spot. But I just trust the Cardinals a little bit more, man. Kyler Murray's the second year in that system, and he looks definitely more poised and confident. So, the Patriots, I think they might lose by 10, man. I think Cam will make a couple plays, but I just trust the Cardinals more.
For this some disagreement on us with this one. I like the Patriots in this one. I like the Patriots. I'm going with Cam Newton. Something tells me Cam got something for us in the fourth quarter today. I think Cam Newton will step up. I'm not a big fan of their wide receiving core. I think they all underachieved. I think at times Cam Newton is underachieved, and Josh McDaniels as a play caller has underachieved. But I think the Patriots defense will clamp down on the Cardinals. They'll surprise some people. They'll go to a quiet 5-6. The Patriots recently, they've been playing a little bit better football, even though they're still 4-6. But I think the defense will step up. They'll slow down Murray. He'll make a couple mistakes. And I think Cam Newton, he'll turn things up in the fourth quarter, make a couple big passes, do a couple things with his legs. And I like the Patriots over the Cardinals. I guess a little bit of an upset, but I just like the Patriots at home, man. I think they'll get to Murray. I think the pass rush will get there. I think they'll do some things on defense. But it should be a close one, like you said. One question before we move on to the next one, Sean. Do you still view Kyler Murray as maybe a top 3 MVP candidate right now?
Top 3, I'm going to say no. I think my MVPs is Russ, Mahomes, and possibly Josh Allen as of now. I know Aaron Rodgers is in there as well when you say top 3, but I definitely think from what I've seen this year, Kyler Murray, I see a guy who's, again, like I mentioned, he's a lot more confident in the system. He's definitely probably the best right now, arguably dual threat quarterback with him. He could potentially run for 1,000 yards this year. And what he's been doing with DeAndre Hopkins. So this team is deadly, So, but as far as the top 3 MVP, I'm going to say no. I think, he has to continue to win some more games, get some more games under his belt, and be probably the reason why they are winning, which he would be. So top 3 MVP right now, no. But is it bad if he's in the conversation? No. I think it's okay if he's in the combo. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in the conversation as well, too. I thought the loss last week against Seattle kind of pushed him back a little bit and kind of pushed Mahomes at the top of the list. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, and then I would say really Rodgers and Wilson are probably at number 2. Maybe a little bit more Wilson than Rodgers at this point, and number 1 Mahomes. But I think Kyler Murray, he's in a good spot. He's in a good spot, even though I didn't pick them to beat the Patriots. They need today's game. If they get today's game, he throws maybe 3 touchdown passes or get a couple touchdowns on the ground. I think that helps his case out. Let's move on to, the Dolphins and Jets. You already said your upset special is the Jets. Sam Darnold is playing today, so maybe that's an upgrade for the Jets, but their general manager really didn't do much to put anything around him. I have Miami in this game. I'll just pick this one because we know your pick already, Sean. I have Miami in this game. I'll tell you why. I love what they're doing on defense. Miami's a good team with or without Tua. I think Fitzpatrick will do enough. He might even throw a pick or 2. But will the Jets' offense actually be good enough to score and capitalize off that? And I don't think so. Maybe the game is close in the first quarter, but this is a type of game where if you're a fantasy guy and you have the Dolphins as your defense, you start this team. They're going to get some points today. Pretty good secondary. They're going to get after the quarterback. I think it's going to be a miserable day for the Jets after the first quarter and Sam Darnold. But hey, we'll see what goes down. a Jets fan, I gotta be a little hopeful, but I'm just being realistic. I think the Dolphins pound them in this one. It might be a little close because of the division, but their defense of the Dolphins should dominate this game. So that's how I kind of look at it. Let's talk about your Falcons real quick. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 6-4 at the 3-7 Falcons. John Gruden, your guy, he said that the Falcons are the best 3-7 team ever. I think we all could say seems like he's exaggerating or capping, like the young guys would say. You know what? I'm gonna pick the Falcons today in an upset, 27-24. They'll find a way. They'll find a way to win this game. Falcons are a weird team. They could beat one of the better teams in the league, and they could lose to. They could lose to anybody. Even the Jets. They could lose to anybody. I think they could beat almost anybody. So I like the Falcons in this one. I think Matt Ryan will be clean in the first couple of quarters. They might even jump out to a 2-touchdown lead. And then the Raiders, they'll bring it close. And then David Carr, who's having a pretty good season, will make a mistake. So give me the Falcons in this one.
Yeah, man. I've always said that. I think the Falcons can compete against anyone and potentially win. But they also can lose against anyone, too. So this is definitely a toss-up game. John Gruden facing his old rivals in the Atlanta Falcons. Previously being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer coach back in the day. So I don't. You know what, Jansen? I'm gonna say the Raiders, man. Because as a Falcons fan, I want to lean towards the Falcons, but the Raiders have more to fight for right now. They're still trying to. Go ahead and confirm their playoff berth. They had a tough game against the Kansas City Chiefs last week. They beat them before, the only team who did beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I just think with John Gruden and his team, they're responding well. And right now, I have to be honest, they're a better team than the Falcons. So I don't expect the Falcons to win this game. I'm going with the Raiders. I think Derek Carr's having a quiet, solid year. And arguably, he's having a better year than Matt Ryan. I know we want to look at statistics, but this is something about him, man. I think in the running game with Josh Jacobs, and the defense has stepped up at moments. So I'm going with the Raiders this year, man. I'm going with the Raiders today, I should say.
Absolutely, Sean. I love what they're doing with Josh Jacobs, and I think he's having a really, really good season. Love the way he's playing football, underdog story type of guy. So We'll see how they fare against this Falcons defense. This really should be the David Carr show if you think about it. How bad the secondary of the Falcons have been. But so I can see why you picked them. Again, I'm not too confident in my pick, saying it's a surefire, but still got the Falcons. Also want to say this. This Falcons and Raiders pick is sponsored by the UK Falcons. Go follow the UK Falcons on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook too. They just launched the Facebook account. See quality content from me on that page and others as well too. Sean, let's move over to the team you hate the most, the New Orleans Saints. They are 8-2. I think they're atop the NFC, right? 8-2 is the best record in the NFC, so, right?
Man.
Okay. Just about. This looks like a trap game. It smells like it. Well, it did before this COVID stuff. 8-2 Saints. They're at the Denver. I have no quarterbacks active. Broncos. Maybe me or you could fly out there and play some quarterback. They're 4-6. Is there any chance the Broncos could win this game? I think they're starting the kid from who was a quarterback at Wake Forest. He's a wide receiver now. He's going to be starting. This is a weird situation, actually. But yeah, they're going to be starting a wide receiver at quarterback. He hasn't played quarterback since he was at Wake Forest. Any chance that the Denver Broncos win this game?
Man, seeing that it's at Denver, I forget who. They just beat 2 on the Dolphins last week. Man, is there a chance? There's always a chance. I mean, I highly doubt it, you know what I mean? But Taysom Hill is starting, we don't know how he's going to be in a high altitude, in a Mile High stadium. So if their defense really has to get them in situations where they can force turnovers, they picked off Tua last week and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Tua had his worst game of the year. which is why he was benched last week. So their defense, I believe, has to make plays. You know, Taysom Hill had a very good game last week against the Atlanta Falcons, but hey, you know, although he hasn't played quarterback, you know, that was his first start last week. Sean Payton knows how to dial up against the Atlanta Falcons. He knows their weak points because they're a division rival. You know, going against the Broncos, which you only see 4 times a year, so being from the NFC, AFC games, I think it could be tough. And I know the Denver Broncos, you know, they're not really playing for anything right now, probably other than the personal, you know, the players for contracts and things like that. So they're going to be counted out, man. So I expect it to be close, but I think Sean Payton and the Saints will find a way to win. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout, man. Believe it or not, I don't think it'll be a blowout.
Yep, and I got him right now. His name is Kendall Hinton, former quarterback at Wake Forest and Southern Durham, North Carolina High School. He was signed to the practice squad earlier this month. He'll be the starting quarterback for Denver. The Saints better not lose this game. Just off the fact that this is the situation they're in. This game, I got the Saints winning by 2 touchdowns. I think Alvin Kamara will play well. I'm not a big fan of Taysom Hill. He's the starter this week, right? Taysom Hill, not a big fan. I'm not convinced yet. Hopefully he has another decent game. We'll see what he does with his legs. But if I'm Denver, and you made a great point that Tua struggled, I'm man coverage, I'm zone blitzing, I'm blitzing Hill. I don't know why the Falcons didn't blitz Hill. I was a little confused by that, Sean. So I would dare him to make plays down the field. I'm not confident he'll make plays down the field, but I'm confident in Kamara. I think Michael Thomas will play well. Emmanuel Sanders. They have weapons around him, but I'm not convinced Taysom Hill's the best option yet over Jameis. I know he's cleaner with the ball than Jameis is, but I don't know if long-term he can make plays down the field that Jameis can make, because Jameis has an arm. He threw 33 touchdowns last season. He threw over 5,000 passing yards, so it's kind of crazy that he can't even get a starting job. Plus, he signed a $1 million contract, which is crazy. He backup quarterback money's like $5-6 mil, right? But yeah, I still got the Saints winning this game. This should be an easy win, man. They don't know what they're doing at the quarterback position. It's an unfortunate situation. So they should find some way to win this game. I think it'll be the Alvin Kamara show, though, and Michael Thomas. So I got the Saints improving to 9-2 and atop the NFC. Home field advantage is up for grabs. We're starting to get into that season, Sean, where teams are looking for that seeding. And let's go to another 4 o'clock game. By the way, listeners, I love the 4 o'clock games. It's always, they have a couple marquee matchups, and I like them today too. This second one right here, divisional matchup in the toughest division in the NFC West. You have the 49ers, who are kind of on life support, has so many injuries. Literally everybody's out for them who matter. They're 4-6. With this loss, they're probably out of the playoff picture. Looking how things are stacked up. They're playing the Los Angeles Rams, who are 7-3. They're coming off that big-time victory against the Bucs. Playoff implications, they might measure out in that game. Huge loss for the Bucs. Big win for the Rams. I thought Jared Goff played well. I'm thinking this Rams defense, they're picking things up. The pass rush is looking good. The secondary is getting takeaways. They were clutch. They closed out the game. They're looking like a Super Bowl team. Sean, before you answer your pick on this one, can the Rams get far in the playoffs?
Man, I was just about to tell you that. I think they can, man. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. Let's not forget, this Rams team was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and if Cooper Kupp would have played, hey, it could have been a different story. So I think the Rams, this is just watching their games, man. They seem like they understand their identity. You know, last year, it seemed like, people were saying, did everyone figure out Sean McVay? But they still won 8-8. They were still in the playoff hunt. So with this Rams team this year, I just see more of I feel like, that most of their players are healthy. Malcolm Brown, they have a running back by committee, but they're doing enough. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, both had over 120 yards receiving, Jansen, over 11 receptions each. Wow. That's amazing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. So I think with Jared Goff, again, like you mentioned, if he could take care of the football and don't make too many mistakes, this Rams team is deadly. They have the best defense to me in the NFL, I should say. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and they just have a swagger and a confidence, man. And that's what you need. And being coached by Sean McVay, I believe they can do it. They already really dismantled the Seattle team. We know that's a rivalry game, but I believe they can beat anybody in the NFC, man. So I believe they can. I believe they can go deep.
Right now, you got to ask me that in a couple weeks, even though I asked you the question. But right now, they look like a Super Bowl team. We'll see. Yeah. We will see how this division plays out. But I do have them beating the 49ers. It'll be a tough game, though. These division games, even with injuries, it's one of them gritty games. It's a 4 o'clock game. Gotta love those type of games, man. 4:05 to be exact. I got the Rams winning by 2 touchdowns. 49ers have way too many injuries. It's tough to overcome.
I got the Rams too.
Yep. Final game. We both agree on that one. Final game for the 4 o'clock time slot. 4:25. This is the big one, man. You got the Kansas City Chiefs, 9-1, second best team in the league, second in the AFC, behind the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are still undefeated. They are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off that heartbreaking loss. Tampa Bay's 7-4 right now. A lot of drama going on. What are your thoughts first on Bruce Arians calling out Tom Brady? Do you like that?
Man, that's what Bruce Arians does, and he's done that for all the players he's coached. I respect it. I understand Tom Brady, the name and everything, his accomplishments, but hey, man, I mean, we're still a business. You know what I mean? No, nobody's untouchable, and Tom Brady does not look like Tom Brady from a couple, from his past. He has his moments. He's still in my top 10. He can still produce and win games for you, but hey, if you've thrown 3 picks a game, twice this year, you got to be called out. And 2 of those, they were costly, and a big reason why they lost last week. So as far as Bruce Arians, it's not just calling out Tom Brady. He's done this in his past, so I don't really have an issue with it. But it's not all Tom Brady's fault. But at the same time, I mean, hey, you got to get the job done. So I don't have an issue with it. As far as the game, I still got the Chiefs to win this game. The Chiefs, man, I mean, until somebody really beats them in the playoffs, I'm going to have them going back to possibly the Super Bowl, man. Patrick Mahomes, to me, is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. He can make all the throws, and they just have that confidence, man. Like, I know you don't want to hear this, but they might be the new New England Patriots, man, of the AFC. I know you don't want to hear that, Jansen. I just said they might. The type of confidence and the type of confidence they have in one another and to win that game the way they did against the Las Vegas Raiders last week, it's like it's no doubt in your mind that they're going to score. And they scored the touchdown. So, I'm going with the Chiefs, man, in this one.
Cool. Look, man, Bruce Arians, I don't care what anybody says. What he said, basically what he said, Sean, correct me if I am BSing, because I don't have the exact quote right here. Correct me if I'm wrong. He basically said, we're losing some of these games because the quarterback is throwing interceptions. That's what he basically said.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see why you would call out Tom Brady. They are 7-4. That is not a bad record. And yes, there's some truth to what he said, but keep it in-house. The whole world doesn't need to know the truth sometimes. Okay? I just think words like that is dysfunctional. Especially when you're talking to a guy like Tom Brady, who's 43 years old, who's won championships, won 6 of them. Look, that's a little premature. I don't think the Bucs are in a bad position. They got the Chiefs at home. This is a must-win game for them. But I just don't like how Bruce Arians handled that situation. You could have talked to him privately. Taking it to the media, I thought was childish. I don't know why he did that. He doesn't have the resume, in my opinion, and maybe I'm going down the petty road, Sean. I'm sorry, I got to do it. But
it's okay.
He don't have the resume to be talking to Tom Brady like that. I think Brady will still figure things out. He's still one of the most productive quarterbacks in the league. He's top 5 right now in touchdown passes. So when I look at that, I'm looking at a guy who still could produce. His interceptions are up, but it's a little bit premature. And that's why another upset I have today, I'm picking the Bucs, man. I got the Bucs in this one. Mike Evans is having a huge year. People aren't talking about him, but he's top 3 right now in touchdown catches. He's going to perform. I just think that the Chiefs will slip up a little bit. This will be a rebound game for the Bucs. Tom Brady, I'm not saying he'll outperform Patrick Mahomes, but I think he'll be able to keep up. Give me the Bucks 35-28 against the Chiefs, and Tom Brady just on one interception. I don't think he'll have 2 interceptions or 3. Just 1 interception. But I like the Bucks in an upset to give the Chiefs their second loss. And hopefully Bruce Arians, maybe that fueled or hit a nerve where things will change with the team. But I don't think it's all on Brady. But he does need to play better. I just don't think you need to go into the media with all that talking. Woo! Another big matchup. The NFC North. You got the Bears and the Packers. The Bears are even 5-5 at the Green Bay Packers, who are 7-3, coming off that loss to the Colts. Sean, who do you like in this one and why?
Man, I like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, man. You know, I really can't remember the last game that the Bears actually won. You know, it's been so long. I think they started off 5-2 and lost the last 3, and they had a bye. So it's been a while for the Bears, man. I mean, this definitely, I think, can be a close game. You know, arguably one of the best rivalries in the NFL of all time. You know, but I still have the Green Bay Packers. You know, they're coming off a loss that they definitely thought they could have won last week. And, you know, playing against this Bears team, you know, the quarterback controversy. I know Nick Foles that got hurt on Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings, you know. But I believe they're coming off a bye. So, again, is it Mitch? Is it Nick? We don't know. You know what I mean? Is it Saint Nick? So for the Bears, man, I mean, that is a shambles right now. And I'm going with the Packers, man. I just trust Aaron Rodgers a lot more. And I think the Packers find a way to win, man. And I got it 31. I got it 30 17, 30-20.
I have the Packers as well, too. I think that the Bears are a mess. Nagy's job could be on the line. But the Packers, since we've been watching football, man, it seems like they always got the same problem. They really can't produce much on offense, and when the defense isn't extremely elite, they have a lot of issues. And it's no different this year. I think they're in trouble. This is a team that's not going to be in the playoffs. Even if they find a way to win, they're not going to be in the playoffs. And I think the Packers are looking at it Super Bowl or bust. So I think Aaron Rodgers, he won't have the biggest game ever, but he'll do enough. 2 touchdown passes. Hopefully he's clean with the ball, doesn't throw a pick. If they can get to 24 points, I think they win this game. So I have the Packers over the Bears. The Bears falling to 5-6. That's bad, especially in a competitive NFC. And they'll be over for them. So I picked the Eagles to upset Seattle to stay in the first place. That means they'll improve to 4-6-1, and Seattle would drop to 7-4. I know you don't feel the same way, Sean. Why do you have the Seattle Seahawks winning this game?
No, man. I mean, I think you know, the Eagles are in shambles as well, similar towards the Bears. I mean, even worse, they only got 3 wins this year, and Carson Wentz has been looking worse and worse every week. You know, and they don't seem like a team whose head, is above water. You know, they just seem like they're just coasting, and hopefully they'll get saved by somebody. But they're not sure if it's Jalen Hurts is going to save them. So they're going to they're continuing to start Carson Wentz, and they just continue to lose. And I just trust the Seattle Seahawks. They're better. Honestly, at this point, a better coach team. They have the better players. Russell Wilson is a lot better than Carson Wentz. Not even close. And I think they'll find a way to win. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout fashion, but I don't know what to lean on. Thinking the Eagles would beat the Seahawks is what I'm saying. So I just think Seattle's is a better team, man. Better coach, better players. That's what I'm picking up.
I feel you. Hopefully Seattle's defense can make a couple plays in the secondary. Maybe Jamal Adams makes a play. Or maybe he's going to get a sack or so. Remember, the Eagles allow 40 sacks this season, which is the most. So they don't like to protect the quarterback. So maybe Jamal Adams, he's pretty good at blitzing out of his position. Maybe he'll make a couple plays. Moving on to another divisional matchup. You have the Ravens, who have looked bad on offense. They are 6-4. They're at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are undefeated at 10-0. Do you view this, first of all, Sean, as a must-win game for the Baltimore Ravens?
You down with RG3? Yeah, you know me. You know what, man? Yeah, at this point I do, man, because the Ravens, again, I hate to keep using. I'm not gonna use the same in shambles thing again, but they haven't won the game in a few weeks. You know, they lost against the Titans last week, a close game that they were up 10. They lost against Pittsburgh earlier this year. They're starting to lose more games, man. And you know, I know everyone's talking about Lamar Jackson. Can he do this? Can he do that? And I believe he's tough enough, mentally tough enough, where he can get through it. But you know, it's something with the Ravens, though, man. The identity just doesn't seem the same. So to lose against Pittsburgh, which most likely they probably will on Tuesday. You know, but it's some. You know, I'm gonna say this. You know, I feel like if anything can happen, I believe they can possibly pull it out. You know, because this is still a divisional game. You know, if RG3 starts, again, we haven't seen him in the last few years, but I think he can still throw. He can still move with his legs a little bit, man. So again, if I were betting, I would pick the Steelers to win this game. You know, but I think the Ravens, just for pride and being desperate, I think they could find a way to win because you know Pittsburgh, a lot of their games this year has been very close as well. Again, I trust Big Ben and Mike Tomlin, but John Harbaugh still has something to say, man. So you know, they got a lot of people on the COVID list, but I think Baltimore might find a way to win, man. So this is a must-win game. Excuse me.
Yeah, I have the Steelers winning, but I have it much closer because James Conner is out. But what type of quarterback play are we going to get from RG3? I don't think we're going to get much from him. Is he going to be able to withstand that defensive line of the Steelers, which is averaging the most sacks per game? We know they're going to bring pressure. We know how good that defense is. They're physical. I don't know if RG3 will be prepared for all that. I hope he is, man. But I have the Steelers. Since it's a division game, I think it'll be close. I have the Steelers edging this one out, even though there's a ton of players, man, that are going to be out with COVID. And I'm surprised they're having the game this week. But, yeah, I'm going with the Steelers. They'll improve to 11-0 and continue to try to chase that 16-0 mark. And
do you think they'll get it, Jansen?
At this point, I think the Steelers have an opportunity to go 16-0 because of how balanced they are. And I know they got a couple challenging games coming up, but I think they'll be able to do it. They've been the most balanced team this year, and I still think they're the biggest threat right now to the Kansas City Chiefs, even though the Chiefs I have as the favorite. But, yeah, I think the Steelers have a chance to do it. Do you think they have a chance?
They definitely have a chance. You know, I think with Mike Tomlin, it's something. You know, I think he should arguably be Coach of the Year, man. Because you know, for him to go 8-8 last year without Big Ben, and then turn around and possibly go 16-0, you know, it's credit towards what he's done with that organization. So, you know, I know they have the Bills on their schedule. They still have the Ravens obviously this Tuesday. So anything could happen. But you know what? I mean, the best record they ever had was 15-1, the Cowher era. So I definitely think Tomlin's a better coach. You know, I know it's two different teams, but I think they have a chance, man. And if they get within a couple games to get in it, you know, I think they can do it. So I don't rule it out. You know, I don't rule it out that they can go undefeated, but they definitely have a strong chance. I believe in it.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, man. Mike Tomlin is my Coach of the Year as well. A couple years ago, people were calling for his job, and look what's happening now. No Le'Veon Bell, no Antonio Brown, but the team got better. The chemistry's there. He's emphasizing his culture. He's showing people how much of a commander he is and a leader that he is. And I just love everything Pittsburgh's doing. They're running the football well. They're throwing the football well. If they can limit turnovers and create turnovers in situational football, I think, and time of possession matters too. If time of possession, they can control that. They could go 16-0, and they could go to the Super Bowl. This team, if you have a pass rush and some pretty good quarterback play, you could go to the Super Bowl. And I think Big Ben, he's capable, man. And I didn't ask you. Do you look at Big Ben as a guy who could lead a team to the Super Bowl still?
Yeah, I think definitely this year. You know, he seems comfortable. He doesn't have as many turnovers this year as well, and he's looking like big men of old. I have him arguably in the top 10 still this year, and that's all you need. You don't need to be that Steelers team. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's not necessarily, people respect his game. Is he a top 10 receiver? A lot of people don't necessarily think so, but it's not about that. I think it's about the team as a whole. Just like we gave credit to Mike Tomlin, that James Conner, that the running game has been a weakness this year, but they're still finding ways to win. The Steelers defense has came back as of old as well. Minka Fitzpatrick and those guys. Minka and those guys, and they made plays. So I think as far as Big Ben leading to a Super Bowl this year, I believe he's very capable of it. He's not necessarily on the game manager list where it's like just don't mess up the game. Because he can if it's the last drive, he can make the plays to help end up winning the games. So he's not the Big Ben necessarily of old. Throwing for the 500 to 400 yards a game, but if you need him to win a game for you, I believe at least he can win a game for you on those last couple drives. So definitely going to the Super Bowl this year. I can see it.
Cool. Sean, thank you for joining me, going over these Week 12 games, and we'll see how things go. We're going to be talking and texting during the games to see how some of the matchups we picked the opposite are going, and it's always fun and interesting. Thank you, man, for joining me talking sports. This podcast, The Final Play on the Just Good Network, again, is sponsored by the UK Falcons, Level 1 Game Room, and Your Future Media for all media purposes. If you want to sponsor the show, hit us up, and we can make that happen. Sean, thank you for talking football. You can listen to this podcast anywhere, literally, that you listen to podcasts. It'll be on YouTube as well. We're going to cut up segments throughout the week. And, yeah, just another great show. Hit us up. Just Good Network. Like, comment, subscribe, email, whatever you need to do, and continue listening. Thank you guys for listening.